Hello, and welcome back to part 2 of arrays. Last time we covered the how to just dump an array just to kind of see what's in there. We talked about how to unset a certain value that's in an array, and we also talked about how, of course, how to set them up. So what I'm going to cover now is basic counts and for each loops. No, so for a count, well, just imagine this array being, tens of thousands of names, and you just want to sit there and physically count each name. That's just ridiculous to do in the first place. So what we can do is we'll declare a variable, and we'll just say num elements. Just how many elements are in there, and we'll use the keyword count, and we'll actually let PHP count this for us. It'll be a lot easier. So we'll save this. We'll refresh our page. Might help if I echo it out first. So we'll say echo num elements. We'll save that. We'll refresh. And we get 4. Granted, that was easy to count. There's only 4 names in there, but you can just imagine if you were storing, say, bunch of usernames into an array so you can do something with it later on. And like I said, if you get like tens of thousands of names, there's just no way you want to sit there and physically count each single one of them. Something else we can do that's kind of quick and dirty. We can actually pull out just the names, and you know how we used the print R when we had everything was assigned a certain value, or excuse me, an index to a value, index to so on and so forth. Well, we can do a quick for loop to do this. And this ain't the prettiest way, but like I said, it's quick and dirty. So we'll start off with a normal for loop. If you don't know a for loop, I covered it in a previous video. Just kind of go through them. You should be able to find it. But anyways, you declare a variable. So I'm going to use x, and I'm going to assign it the value 0. And then the next step into a for loop. There's 3 parameters. So I set the first one, and the next one, we'll say is x is less than num elements. And then of course now we have to increment our variable so he can do his job. Alright, so all we're going to do now is echo the original array back out. So here it's good. It looks a little weird when you do this. You're just not going to echo out the variable by itself. You have to actually enclose it in left and right curly brackets, and you plug in your variable. Then your left and right brackets, and in here you're going to use our count, which is our x. So we'll save this and we'll refresh, and as you can see, I still got the 4 from just a quick count, and then I get each individual name out. Granted, it's all kind of bunched up together. Well, that doesn't look great, but like I said, it's kind of quick and dirty. The easier way to do this would be, I'm going to get rid of this stuff. Yeah, get rid of that. Is to use a for each loop. And what that does, it allows you to process the entire array without having to pre-evaluate the size of it. And that's kind of what we did with the for loop. So to start this, we're going to say use the keyword for each, and we're going to use we'll use the months. Now this is going to look kind of funky, but we're going to say months as excuse me, months as mon. Then we'll just echo out each mon, mon, and we're gonna put a break in here, And we'll throw a new line character just to be on the safe side. Make sure it does kind of puts them in a nice little list for us. So we'll refresh this, and you see you got January, February, March, April. So here I didn't call out the index of it. I just got the value back out itself. You can also use a for each loop. Well, here, let me back up. Let me tell you about another nice thing about for each loops. Like I said, it will, like I said, without pre-evaluating the size of an array, it will also skip over empty cells. So in a way, that's kind of nice, and probably the best way to do that would be, let me see, do I have an example or should I make one? We'll use this one. So we'll say rooms, actual copy, rooms, then we have, for this one, we have to use the equals greater than symbol, and I'll just keep it as mon for right now instead of rewriting it. And that's not really a good example of what I was trying to explain. So what we can do is we'll do say like an associative array. So let's screw this for now. So let's make a new array. I'll keep those for now. And what I'll do is I'll have one called capitals. And this array, like I said, we can have our indexes actually be strings. So I'll say Michigan as, Lansing, Georgia, capital of Georgia is Atlanta. Let's do a couple more. Let's see, New York is, I believe it's Albany. And let's do one more. We'll say Florida is, I think it's Tallahassee, and that's what Tallahae or SSCE, I think. Could be wrong, but anyways, so if we want to loop through this and actually pull out the index as well, we have to use the keyword as. Like I tried to do it just a few seconds ago, but I kind of messed I messed it up. So to set this one up, that's really not too hard. There's just a couple more keystrokes and it'll be fine. So let's go back. Whoops, for each, and then we'll call our variable, which is capitals, and we'll say as. Now, let's get this little keyword as is going to pull this out. And so we'll say as, make a variable called state, and then another one called city. That should be easy enough. So the echo this out. We're going to we'll just use paragraph tags right now. It might be easier. So we'll say state, give it a few dashes, kind of space it out a little bit, and then city. So like I said, what this will do is it's going to pull in the state from our array, and it's going to pull in our city. So we should have our state city as we echo it back out. Oops, semicolon. We'll save this, refresh our page, and sure enough it does. It gives our state, capital, state, capital, state, capital, so on and so forth. So for each, it's a little easier to use it that way than to use the count and then use a for loop and so on and so forth. Like I said, the syntax, I mean, it is a little bit different. Now it's kind of odd. Let's say because you had this one here. Let me copy this real quick. So, and let's do a couple things real quick. And we had, oops, this one as well. So these are like the two types of for eaches that you might come around with and play with. And the best thing I would suggest is just going to play around with these. I mean, I'm not sure if I explain this the best way. Like I said, I'm happy to answer any types of questions anybody has. Yeah, so go ahead, subscribe, like, dislike the video, leave comments. Alright, and you guys have a good one. Talk to you later.